Drive-thru staff, what's the most memorable thing you've heard playing through a customer's car speakers? First user, working the overnight shift at McDonald's was always an adventure. The hours between midnight and sunrise attracted a diverse array of customers, from weary night shift workers craving a quick meal to lively groups of friends seeking late-night snacks after a night out. For me, every shift brought its own set of surprises, but there was one night that remains etched in my memory, a night that redefined the meaning of unexpected. It was a typical Friday night, and the drive-thru had been steadily busy. The flow of cars had started to dwindle as the night wore on, offering a brief respite between orders. I was stationed at the drive-thru window, headset on, ready to take the next order. The cool night air seeped in through the partially open window, providing a refreshing contrast to the warmth of the kitchen behind me. Around 2 a.m., a sleek, black sedan pulled up to the ordering station. I greeted the customer with my usual cheerful script, "Welcome to McDonald's, how can I help you tonight?" There was a brief pause before a slightly slurred voice responded, "Ordering a large Big Mac meal with extra fries and a chocolate shake." Nothing out of the ordinary, I thought, probably someone returning from a late-night party or a long shift. As the car rolled up to the payment window, I prepared to process the transaction. The interior lights of the car were off, making it difficult to see the driver clearly. However, as he rolled down his window to hand me his card, the dim glow from our window illuminated the inside of his car just enough for me to notice something unusual. He seemed underdressed. I blinked, trying to adjust my eyes to the low light, and that's when I realized he wasn't wearing any pants. My mind raced, trying to process what I was seeing. He was casually seated there, shirt on, but completely bare from the waist down. To add to the shock, I caught a glimpse of his phone propped up on the dashboard, playing what was unmistakably adult content. The sounds were faint but discernible, creating an incredibly awkward and uncomfortable atmosphere. A surge of adrenaline rushed through me as I struggled to maintain my professional composure. My first instinct was to look away, to pretend I hadn't noticed, but the situation was too blatant to ignore completely. I quickly completed the transaction, avoiding eye contact as much as possible. He seemed utterly unfazed, as if this were the most normal thing in the world. Handing back his card, I mustered a polite, "Thank you, please proceed to the next window," my voice steady despite the awkwardness swirling around us. As soon as he drove off, I took a deep breath, trying to shake off the unease that had settled over me. I turned to my coworker, whose eyes were wide with disbelief, having caught a glimpse of the scene himself. "Did you just see that?" I asked, half expecting that I had imagined the whole thing. He nodded, his expression mirroring my own shock. We exchanged a nervous laugh, the kind that bubbles up when you're trying to diffuse tension. When the car reached the pickup window, I hesitated for a moment, contemplating whether to involve our manager or even contact security. But considering the customer hadn't been overtly threatening or disruptive, just incredibly inappropriate, I decided to handle it swiftly and professionally. I grabbed his order, double-checked to ensure everything was correct, and approached the window with a neutral expression. As I opened the window to hand over his food, I kept my gaze firmly fixed on the bag, avoiding any direct eye contact or unnecessary interaction. He took the bag with a casual, "Thanks," seemingly oblivious to the discomfort he had caused. As he drove away into the night, a mixture of relief and disbelief washed over me. I closed the window and leaned back against the counter, exhaling deeply. My coworker and I exchanged another look, this time accompanied by genuine laughter now that the situation had passed. We spent the next few minutes recounting what had happened, each of us trying to make sense of the bizarre encounter. It became the story of the night, something we shared with the rest of our team as they came back from breaks or finished their tasks. The incident added an unexpected twist to our otherwise routine shift, becoming one of those stories that would be retold during future late-night shifts, each time eliciting the same mixture of shock and amusement. In the end, while the encounter was undoubtedly inappropriate and uncomfortable, it also served as a reminder of the unpredictability that comes with working in customer service, especially during the overnight hours. You truly never know what, or who, you might encounter when serving the public. It taught me the importance of maintaining professionalism even in the most unexpected and awkward situations, a lesson that has stayed with me long after that night. Second user. Working at a busy coffee shop drive-thru had its perks: free caffeine, friendly regulars, and the occasional heartwarming interaction that made the early morning shifts worthwhile. But nothing could have prepared me for the unforgettable moment when I became an unexpected witness to one of the most joyous announcements a couple could receive. It was a crisp autumn morning, the kind where the air carries a slight chill but is still refreshing. The drive-thru line was steadily growing as commuters stopped by for their morning fix before heading to work. I was manning the order station, headset on, greeting each customer with my practiced enthusiasm. Around 8 a.m., a sleek silver SUV pulled up to the speaker. Before I could deliver my standard greeting, I heard the faint sound of a phone ringing through the car's speakers. I hesitated for a moment, not wanting to interrupt what sounded like an important call. The driver, a woman with a bright, energetic voice, answered, "Hello? Dr. Peterson?" Sensing that this was a significant call, I remained silent, my finger hovering over the mute button. I knew I should probably step away and give her privacy, but curiosity got the better of me, and I found myself listening in despite myself. "Hi, Mrs. Thompson," came the voice on the other end, warm and professional. "I have some news regarding your recent IVF cycle." There was a palpable tension in the air, even through the speaker. I could feel my heart rate quicken, realizing the gravity of the moment. The woman inhaled sharply, her voice barely above a whisper as she asked, "Yes? What is it?" There was a brief pause, and then Dr. Peterson's voice filled with joy as he said, "Congratulations, you're pregnant." A beat of silence followed, and then the most beautiful sound erupted through the speakers, a mixture of laughter and sobs as Mrs. Thompson processed the life-changing news. "Oh my God! Are you serious? After all this time," she exclaimed, her voice trembling with emotion. Tears welled up in my eyes as I listened, completely engrossed in this intimate, heartfelt moment unfolding before me. I could hear her husband in the background, his voice filled with excitement and disbelief. "We're really going to be parents?" "Yes, Mr. Thompson," Dr. Peterson confirmed warmly. "The results are positive, and all signs point to a healthy pregnancy. We'll schedule your next appointment soon, but for now, celebrate this wonderful news." The call ended with a flurry of thank yous and expressions of gratitude. As the car inched forward to the ordering window, I quickly wiped away a stray tear, trying to compose myself. When I pressed the button to speak, my voice was softer, filled with the emotion of what I had just witnessed. "Good morning, welcome to Bean Brew Coffee. What can I get started for you today?" I asked, my voice betraying a hint of the joy I felt. Mrs. Thompson's voice came through, still shaky but overflowing with happiness. "Hi, could I get a grande iced coffee, please?" I couldn't help myself. "Absolutely, and congratulations," I said, hoping it didn't come across as intrusive. There was a brief pause before she responded, her voice filled with warmth. "You heard that, huh?" "Yes," I admitted sheepishly, "and I just wanted to say how happy I am for you both." "That's incredible news." She laughed softly, the sound full of joy. "Thank you so much. We've been trying for so long, and to finally hear this, it's just overwhelming." "Well, this calls for a celebration," I replied, quickly typing into the register to comp her order. "This one's on us." "Congratulations again." As the SUV pulled up to the pickup window, I made sure her iced coffee was prepared perfectly, adding a little extra whipped cream and a sprinkle of chocolate shavings for good measure. I handed it to her with a big smile, and she reached out, her eyes shining with happiness. "Thank you," she said, her voice soft but sincere. "You have no idea how much this means to us." "It's my pleasure," I replied. "Wishing you all the best on this amazing journey." As they drove away, I felt a lingering warmth in my chest, a sense of fulfillment that stayed with me for the rest of the day. Word of the heartwarming encounter quickly spread among my coworkers, and we all shared in the joy, our spirits lifted by the unexpected glimpse into such a profound moment. That morning served as a beautiful reminder of the shared humanity that connects us all, even in the most mundane settings. Amid the routine of serving coffee and taking orders, I had been privileged to witness a life-changing event, a moment of pure joy that transcended the ordinary. It reinforced the idea that you never know what stories and emotions people carry with them, and sometimes, if you're lucky, you get to share in their happiness, even if just for a brief moment. From that day on, every time I worked the drive-thru, I approached each interaction with a renewed sense of openness and empathy, aware that behind every order was a person with their own unique story. And on particularly hectic or challenging days, would think back to that morning and the happiness that radiated from that couple, reminding myself of the simple yet profound connections we make in everyday life. Third user. Working at a fast food drive-thru can often be a monotonous routine, taking orders, processing payments, handing out food. But every now and then, an extraordinary customer comes along who turns an ordinary shift into an unforgettable experience. One such night, our little drive-thru transformed into a stage for an impromptu concert that left everyone smiling long after the music had ended. It was a typical Saturday evening, and the dinner rush had just started to wind down. The sky was painted with hues of orange and pink as the sun set, casting a warm glow over the parking lot. I was working the late shift at our local burger joint, manning the drive-thru window with my usual efficiency. Around 8 p.m., a brightly colored van adorned with whimsical decals pulled up to the ordering speaker. Even before I could greet them, I could hear the faint strains of music seeping through the night air. Curious, I listened closer and recognized the upbeat tempo of a popular dance track. I pressed the button and cheerfully said, "Welcome to Burger Haven, what can I get started for you tonight?" A lively voice responded, barely containing excitement, "Hey there. We'd like 4 double cheeseburgers, 3 large fries, and 5 chocolate shakes, please." As I keyed in the order, the music from their car grew louder, and I could hear voices singing along enthusiastically. There was an infectious energy emanating from the vehicle, and I found myself tapping my foot along to the beat. "All right, your total comes to $28.50. Please drive forward to the next window," I replied, smiling to myself. As the van approached, the music volume increased, and I could see colorful lights flashing inside the vehicle, creating a mini disco effect. The windows were rolled down, and I caught sight of a group of friends dressed in vibrant, eclectic outfits, complete with feathered boas, funky hats, and oversized sunglasses. It was clear they were out to have a good time. Before I could say anything, the driver, a young woman with a glittery top hat and a wide grin, held up a finger signaling me to wait. She then shouted, "All right, guys. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Suddenly, the entire group burst into a synchronized rendition of a classic pop song, their voices harmonizing surprisingly well. They sang with such enthusiasm and joy that it was impossible not to be drawn in. I stood there, utterly delighted, as they performed right there in the drive-thru lane, complete with choreographed dance moves inside the confines of their van. Their energy was contagious. My co-workers gathered around behind me, peering through the window to watch the spectacle unfold. Some of them started clapping along, others swayed to the rhythm, and soon, the entire kitchen was buzzing with excitement. As they concluded their performance with a flourish, striking dramatic poses, the driver looked at me expectantly, eyes twinkling. "So, how did we do?" she asked, slightly out of breath but clearly exhilarated. I broke into applause, joined by my co-workers who cheered and whistled appreciatively. "That was amazing!" I exclaimed, genuinely impressed. "You guys just made our night." She laughed, her friends joining in with cheerful whoops and high fives. "We're glad. We're on our way to a karaoke party and thought we'd do a little warm-up. Figured we'd spread some joy along the way." "Well, mission accomplished," I replied, still smiling widely. "Your food will be ready in just a minute." As they waited, the group continued their merriment, switching songs and encouraging passers-by to join in. A few cars behind them honked in rhythm, and even some customers inside the restaurant looked out to see what all the fun was about, waving and cheering from the windows. Inspired by their spontaneity, my manager decided to comp their entire order as a thank you for bringing such joy to our otherwise routine evening. I handed them their bags of food along with a stack of coupons for free meals, saying, "This is on us tonight. Thanks for sharing your incredible talent and energy." their faces lit up with surprise and gratitude. The driver placed a hand over her heart and said, "Oh wow, thank you so much. You guys are awesome." "No, thank you," I insisted. "You've turned our shift into a party." They waved goodbye, cranking up the music once more as they pulled away, their voices fading into the night but leaving behind a trail of happiness that lingered long after they were gone. For the rest of the evening, the atmosphere in the restaurant was noticeably lighter. My co-workers and I found ourselves humming the tunes they had sung, sharing laughs as we recounted the unexpected performance. Customers who had witnessed the event continued to comment on how delightful it was, some even requesting that we play music to keep the vibe going. That night served as a beautiful reminder of the simple joys that can be found in spontaneous moments and how a little bit of fun and creativity can brighten not just your own day but also the days of those around you. It taught me that sometimes, all it takes is a song and a smile to transform the mundane into something magical. Even now, years later, whenever I hear that classic pop song, I'm instantly transported back to that memorable night, recalling the laughter, the music, and the sense of community that was created in the most unlikely of places, a fast food drive-thru. It remains one of my favorite work memories, a testament to the power of joy and spontaneity in bringing people together. Fourth user. Working at a bustling cafe drive-thru, I had grown accustomed to the steady stream of customers seeking their daily caffeine fix or a quick bite on the go. Each interaction was typically brief and transactional, but every so often, a customer would come along who would remind me of the personal stories and emotions intertwined with these seemingly ordinary moments. One such encounter involved an older couple whose simple act of nostalgia turned an ordinary evening into a heartwarming experience I'll never forget. It was a serene Sunday evening, and the usual rush had tapered off, leaving the cafe bathed in the soft glow of twilight. I was manning the drive-thru window, enjoying the calm after a hectic day. The air was cool, and a gentle breeze rustled through the nearby trees, creating a peaceful ambience. Around 7 p.m., a classic vintage car, a beautifully maintained teal Chevrolet Bel Air, pulled up to the ordering station. The car immediately caught my eye, its polished exterior gleaming under the streetlights, evoking a sense of timeless elegance. As I pressed the button to greet the customers, I noticed soft, melodic music emanating from the car, the unmistakable tunes of a 1960s love song. "Good evening, welcome to Sunrise Cafe. What can I get started for you tonight?" I asked warmly. A gentle, aged voice responded, "Hello there. Could we please have 2 medium lattes, one with extra foam, and a slice of your lemon pound cake?" "Absolutely," I replied, entering their order into the system. "Anything else I can get for you?" The voice paused briefly before adding, "And could we also get an extra fork?" "We're sharing tonight." "Of course, your total comes to $12.50. Please pull forward to the next window," I said, already charmed by the exchange. As the car advanced, the music grew louder, filling the night air with its nostalgic melody. When the car reached my window, I was greeted by the sight of an elderly couple, both elegantly dressed as if for a special occasion. The gentleman wore a crisp button-down shirt with suspenders, his silver hair neatly combed back. The lady beside him was radiant, adorned in a lovely floral dress with a string of pearls resting gracefully around her neck. Both of them wore matching smiles that exuded warmth and joy. I couldn't help but smile back as I greeted them. "Good evening. That's a beautiful car you have." The gentleman's eyes twinkled with pride. "Thank you. We've had her since 1965. Lots of memories in this old girl." The lady chuckled softly, her eyes meeting his with a fondness that spoke volumes. "We had our first date in this car," she shared, her voice filled with nostalgia. "He picked me up, nervous as could be, and took me to a little diner where we shared a slice of lemon pound cake just like tonight." My heart melted at her words. "That's so sweet. Are you celebrating something special tonight?" The gentleman squeezed his wife's hand gently. "Indeed we are. Today marks our 55th wedding anniversary. We thought we'd recreate our first date, in our favorite car, with our favorite song," he said, gesturing to the car speakers softly playing their romantic tune. I felt a surge of warmth and admiration for this couple who, after so many years, still cherished and celebrated their love with such tenderness. Congratulations. That's truly wonderful. Wishing you both many more years of happiness together, I said sincerely. Thank you, dear, the lady replied, her eyes shimmering with emotion. Life's been quite the journey, and we're grateful for every moment. Inspired to make their evening even more special, I quickly excused myself and headed to the back. I informed my manager about the couple and their anniversary, suggesting that we surprise them by comping their order and adding a little extra treat. My manager, touched by their story, agreed enthusiastically. I returned to the window with their lattes, the slice of lemon pound cake elegantly plated and accompanied by 2 forks as requested. Additionally, I included a small box of assorted pastries, tied with a ribbon. Handing the items to them, I said, "Here you go. And as a small token of our appreciation and congratulations, this is all on us tonight. We've also added some of our specialty pastries for you to enjoy." The couple looked genuinely surprised and touched. The lady brought her hand to her chest, her eyes welling up. "Oh my, that's so kind of you. Thank you so much," she said softly. The gentleman nodded appreciatively, his voice thick with emotion. "You've made our night even more special. We can't thank you enough." "It's our pleasure," I replied, my own eyes a bit misty. "Enjoy your evening and happy anniversary once again." They thanked me once more before driving off slowly, the soft strains of their love song lingering in the air. As they pulled into a parking spot under a large oak tree nearby, I watched as they set up their little date, sipping lattes, sharing bites of cake, and swaying gently to the music, lost in their own world. The scene was so tender and beautiful that it brought a smile to everyone who witnessed it. Throughout the evening, I found myself glancing over at them, each time filled with a renewed sense of joy and hope. Their simple yet profound celebration of love served as a poignant reminder of the enduring power of companionship and shared memories. In a world that often feels rushed and disconnected, witnessing such genuine affection was truly heartwarming. That night left a lasting impression on me, reinforcing the belief that love, in its purest form, is found in the small, meaningful moments we create and cherish over time. It taught me to appreciate the beauty in simplicity and the importance of celebrating love and togetherness, no matter how many years pass by. Even now, whenever I hear a classic love song or see a vintage car drive by, I think back to that lovely couple and their impromptu drive-thru date. Their story continues to inspire me, reminding me of the joy that can be found in revisiting and honoring the precious memories that shape our lives. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment and follow for more stories.